in order to make this, you've got to stay focused. You can't be thinking about, you know, why Trump's rhetoric here now is going to elicit some sort of following, which could insist a mind boggling predicament. We need to not get into political variables. Whatever Joe and Harris does, they will do, and it will be great, I'm sure. But if this is going to be a great documentary, you need to be focused on not just making the documentary, which is going to be really fun. I'm thinking, you know, just a full synopsis of just bonfires, smoking, joking, poking, having a good time in Canada at these farms to prove to people it could really be that easy. But we will be getting some B roll as I acquire my six pack and Jersey dancing skills, which will make the American sort of 10 years look like something fun to some degree. But I'm thinking critically, in order to get this documentary off the ground, it's going to be necessitative that along the way, I make critical contacts with all public broadcasting local stations from coast to coast and make sure I can execute a premiere on public Canadian television. My documentary, which will be a deposition, a ongoing deposition of the last 10 years of societal norms and horrific tales from the crypt on the streets. And, also prelude it with fun tales as well. But, show that even in the midst of it all, I still took the time to have fun, dance, do my thing. Didn't necessarily dance a lot while I was doing this, but um, I'm going to become exceptionally good at dancing and get an exceptional six pack, which are two things I really need. Um, because it stinks when you're constantly on the dance floor feeling like you're embarrassing the girls, and the girls are just hanging out with you because you're cute. And I figure once I get the six pack, I'll never go back because I'll always be looking in the mirror like, oh my god, my six pack's going away. Stop eating McDonald's. And now that I'm 36, maybe it will work out. Um, Not sure why 36 matters, but anyways, going from coast to coast after I get the money from down in Jersey, uh, will have to be a very efficiently budgeted operation. You're gonna wind up with no more. In my wildest dreams, I'll probably wind up with $5,000. Now, if I get the disabilities, Uncle Sam probably won't figure out what I'm doing until I'm back in the States. Hopefully, which would mean I'd be well funded throughout the entire thing. And I'll have no bills. And maybe I'll get on a couple farms that actually pay me a meager wage, but mostly just feed me, shelter me, wine me and dine me. Typically at these places, they'll on the weekends smoke you up, give you a couple drinks, and on the weekdays, make sure you're eating well, you're having a good time, and some of them even give you a spot of money to go out into the city on the weekends. Um, a lot of J1s come to Canada to utilize these trails of farms as well as the populations of Canada that are young and still not sure what they're doing, or people who, like I said, could have been systemically homeless for the rest of their lives, for all we know, and find sort of a home, a place, somebody where they all know their name, uh, or somewhere where they all know that person's name. But ultimately, it's going to be critical to budget yourself and to think critically about making these contacts along the way. Now, in the grand scheme of things, imagining getting a view on public television would be great. But I can assure you, the Canadian people love public broadcast. Now, I know the Canadian people will probably watch this and think, no, we don't. We watch regular TV just like you Americans down there. Or Americans do up here. Just Canadians don't. um, Whatever. I don't know what I'm talking about half the time sometimes. But I'm pretty sure if I get it on public television, which is more heavily watched in Canada, by the way, and can be marketed facilitatively through a YouTube marketing scheme, not scheme, marketing thing. I am pretty sure I can simultaneously host this on YouTube and utilize YouTube's broadcast to get people in Canada to watch it live, played on real television for the first time, so that hopefully we acquire my dream of 20,000 people. If it goes more than that, wonderful. But the goal is 20,000 people. And, you know, I could think big and, get under, but I think with the way I work, I'd rather think small and let it grow. But, yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm gonna get into in depth relationships with the Canadian people, speaking deep about socialized medicine and their experiences and how it profoundly affects their responsibilities in utilizing universal health care, as well as integrate people from all over the world coming from different situations with less or more funds for such endeavors. There's Europeans, there's Asians. I'm not sure how many Africans get up to Canada for this sort of thing, but South Americans, a lot of people get up and around to venture these trails, these farmer trails, farmer routes of just kind of living for free and or living freely, sort of off the land by tending to it, as well as meeting Canadians who live their whole lives at these farms. The one I went to originally, there were a couple Canadians, a guy who was kind of taken in, given his own little room and set up nicely. It's some sort of a behavioral issue. but he got his work done good, and he made a good friend with the head of the farm. So, we're gonna see where this goes, but the life of the documentary is going to be the trail from east to west into Canada, talking with compassion, the meat and bones of this documentary is going to be the deposition, evaluating my experiences as a seemingly functionally capable individual being stricken into this financial destitution in a situation where it was my fault to many degrees, but we'll see what the viewer thinks at the end, because clearly, um, beyond the homelessness, beyond the, maybe smoking a little too much or not spending my money thriftfully enough, there's a lot of spooky stuff that went down in America during this period. And I intend for my viewer to be sort of discussing and describing what it is they think the Blair Witch is, my sort of spooky situations that I encounter and lay out in the deposition.